Welcome back to This Week in Magic Online Finance. I'm your host, Chaz Andres, and the news this week is that I'm on spring break, attending a writers' conference down in Florida, so I don't have any of the usual movers and shakers for you this week. Don't worry though, I still have a lot to talk about, and I'll be back next Monday with my usual timely updates about the state of the program. So when it came time to choose a topic for the week, I decided to turn to Twitter and ask you guys what you wanted me to cover. And the most popular suggestion by a lot was to talk about Magic the Gathering Arena and what it might mean for the future value of your MTGO collection. You ask questions like, is MTG Arena going to supplant Magic Online? If so, when is it likely to happen? How worried should you be? And should you sell your collection now, before things get really crazy, before Arena really gets going and everyone floods the market with their collections and all your cards are worth nothing? So we're going to be covering all that and more today. All right. So to me, there are three major questions that MTG Arena has to answer before we can take it seriously as an MTGO replacement. It has to get all three of these questions right. If it doesn't go 3 for 3, we cannot consider it as an MTGO replacement at all. Question 1. Can Arena's interface be at least as competent and good as MTGO? That is, can it replicate all of the intricacies of tournament Magic without simplifying things too much? And can it do so without being really annoying with all kinds of crazy sounds and animations that you can't turn off? So I can't talk about my own experiences with MTG Arena because I'm in the beta testing and I cannot violate my NDA. So all I can do here is say that I've searched the public forums to see if there's any major issues that people are talking about Arena not being capable of. And I can't really find anything. I also looked at the official Wizards FAQ on the program, and they say very clearly that their goal for this program is to fully replicate the exact experience of tournament Magic. What that means is they're not going to be dumbing down any rules, and that's important because it means that even if the interface isn't as good as MTGO's right now, it will be at some point in the future. At least that is the explicit goal of this program. Second question. Will the MTG Arena economy be able to accommodate the sort of players that want to be able to consistently build winning decks? And this is important because right now there's no trading, there's no buying cards on the secondary market, there's not even any Hearthstone style dusting. You're basically limited to buying and winning packs. So the Wizard of the Coast answer here is something called a wild card, which you open in a pack and you can use it to exchange for pretty much any card you want. And this is good news because what it means is really they just have to get the balance right. Even if they don't deliver us enough wild cards right away, at a certain point they're going to have to make the game not frustrating for their top players and streamers, or it's not going to become the esport that Arena is clearly designed to be. So even if the balance is off here, at a certain point they do have the tools to make the economy work. Alright, so we're 2 for 2 right now, but what about this third question? Will MTG Arena be able to support non-standard formats? Things like Vintage, Legacy, Modern, and even Cube Draft. This is crucial for any program that's going to try and supplant Magic the Gathering Online because most people on MTGO aren't there to play Standard. Okay, so this is where I think MTGO has a longer leash than people realize. Programming 10,000 cards into Arena is going to be a nightmare, and releasing 30, 40, 50 old Magic sets onto their new client is going to take years and years. Further, WotC has straight up admitted this is not on their short-term radar. This is not something they're even working on right now. They're trying to optimize Arena for Standard. So Modern is years away, and when it comes, it's going to take years to roll out. So this is where we're at right now. Those first two hurdles seem fairly easy to overcome, and the third will come in time. If the only thing stopping MTGO from dying is the fact that it's going to take Wizards of the Coast a while to program older cards into Arena, then MTGO will eventually be replaced. It's going to happen. But allow me to talk you off the ledge a bit. Before you go and panic sell your collection, let's think a little bit about how all this is realistically going to go down. First, I don't even think Arena is going to leave beta until late 2018, maybe even early 2019. They didn't even program Amonkhet or Kaladesh into Arena, so at the very least they need to wait until those sets rotate out of Standard before the program goes live. And once it does leave beta, Wizards of the Coast is going to have to overcome whatever growing pains inevitably develop with the new game. Economic issues, interface issues, it's going to be something that they're going to have to deal with. After that, Arena is going to have to become popular. And then people are going to have to clamor for them to include Modern. And then Wizards of the Coast is going to have to figure out how they're going to deal with Modern. And then they're going to have to execute it. It's going to be a while. So how long do you really think all that's going to take? 3 or 4 years seems like a wildly optimistic timetable. And remember, they're going to have to release a lot of cards on Arena before Modern is playable. 5 to 6 years seems a little more likely, and by then we might all be playing a new Eternal format called Arena Modern from Ixalan on forward, or we could all be on Mars, or who really knows, because 5 to 6 years is a really long time for us to predict anything having to do with ourselves, or a collection, or a game, or really anything else. And honestly, what are you going to do in the meantime? Not play Magic Online? Further, I fully expect Wizards of the Coast to come up with some measure of compensation once they do fully shutter Magic Online. They probably won't be paying you out in cash, but they'll definitely be compensating you with a ton of Arena product. There are just so many high-profile players and collectors on MTGO with massively valuable collections, they're not going to risk the PR disaster of just going, your cards are gone, what are you gonna do? So remember, Arena has no secondary market, so if you're hoping to cash out on your digital Magic collection at some point, well, you wouldn't be able to do that if they turned it over to Arena. What you would be able to do, though, is play a lot of Magic, and probably in a much better digital environment. So if that's the reason you bought your cards, you really don't have much to worry about. So yeah, bottom line, I do think that Arena will kill Magic Online at some point. I just don't think that point is soon, and I don't think it'll be as apocalyptic as people think it will be when it comes. Now, if you've got a massive collection for investment and 10 copies of every card, you should definitely think about selling at some point in the next year or two. But honestly, you should be doing that anyway. Magic Online is not a good long-term investment. Go get some stocks or some bonds or something more stable. If you've got a small to medium collection of Eternal staples that you like to use, don't worry. At least, don't worry yet. That's all I got for you this week. Thank you so much for joining me for this special report. I'll be back to the normal movers and shakers next week. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next Monday for another episode of This Week in Magic Online Finance.